In this video, I'll show you how you can use single line text. Now, there's several ways to get to the single line text command. I'm on the annotate ribbon, and you can pull down that big A and you can see multi-line or single line. If you go to the home ribbon, I'm on the annotation panel, you get the same options. If you do the pull down menu, draw, text, single line, multi-line, you can also type text or detext to get to the single line text command. Now, we've already talked about multi-line text in the other video. Multi-line text allows you to draw kind of a window around your text, and it gives you a lot of formatting options. Single line text does not give you that. Single line text, I'll start the command. It's not asking for a window, it just wants a start point or the insertion point for your text. Click anywhere to start. Now it wants to know your text height. If you remember, multi-line text doesn't ask for your text height. You have to go up into the ribbon to set your text height. So we'll just go with the default 0.2, press enter. It wants to specify the rotation of the text. Usually you don't want to rotate your text. If for some reason you did, you could type the rotation angle here. If you don't want to rotate your text, you can just leave it at an angle of 0, press enter. And now you just start typing your text. It looks kind of far away. I can just zoom in and pan down a little bit with my, just zoom in and out with my IntelliWheels. Let's see, I'm going to turn my caps lock on. Anytime we're typing text, when we're doing drafting, we'll always use our caps lock. So now I'll just start typing. This is single line text. So if you press enter, it just takes you right below for a new line of text. So this can do multi-line. But the thing is, what's cool about this, well, I'll show you one more thing. That's one big difference. There's no formatting options. No text, no text editor ribbon, no bullets, numbers. Nothing fancy here, but watch this. Everywhere you click, you start a new line of text. This is what's cool for the single line text command. If you're doing room names, miscellaneous text that you just need. Anytime you don't want fancy formatting options, when a lot of times you really don't need fancy formatting, just basic text, you can use the single line text command. To end the command, press enter twice. So enter once because it thinks you want a new line of text. Enter twice lets it know that you've ended the command. So one thing that I do want to point out is even though this looks kind of similar to the multi-line text, if I highlight this, each one of these is its own line of text. So if I highlight it and I can grab this grip and I can move all of this text, whereas the other one, multi-line text, everything was one big text object. I'll press escape. There are other formatting things you can do with multi-line text or single line text. When I first start this command, look down here. If I go to J for justify, or I could do my down arrow to justify, I can choose how I want my text to be justified. So left, center, right, pretty straightforward. Align, if you needed it to align to a certain object or a certain angle, you could choose the align command. Middle, if you need it to be right in the middle of an object. Fit is interesting. If I click fit and I click here, and let me turn on my ortho, and I click here, and then it wants to specify the text height. As I type, it shrinks to fit. So I defined that area. Another option that I have, just in coming through here, single line. Let's look at justify again. These are a little confusing at first, but if you just know T is top, L is right, C is center, M is middle. So top left, top center, top right, middle left, middle center, middle right, bottom left, bottom center, bottom right. So we can just choose one of those, and then we can start typing our text here as well. So one thing that people do when they first start this command and they kind of get ahead of themselves, they start the single line text command, they specify where they want to start, and instead of reading what AutoCAD is asking them for, they just click one more time. AutoCAD right here is asking us what we want our text height to be. So if you're ever doing single line text and you have giant text for some reason, just know it's asking for your text height. So if you click somewhere else right now, it takes that as your text height. So when I specify a rotation angle, 0, this is huge. Press enter twice. That is because you did not slow down and let AutoCAD prompt you for what it needs. It was asking us for a text height. So if you click a second time, it assumes you're specifying the text height that you really wanted to have. So that is it. That's the single line text command. There's definitely a purpose for each one. Sometimes when you need formatting and underline and bullets and numbers, that's a great way to use multi-line text. When you need something like just basic text, room names and just miscellaneous little notes here and there, that's a perfect time to use single line text.